Yo, 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 yo. We'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Flock is HOTcast. As always, Sco Ducks.
It's hot, baby. It's hot.
You got my man Jared West, no relation. My man Axel,
Yay.
again, I'm butchering his last name. I'm going to let him stick to that. The run out there in Miami, Florida. We'd like to welcome you guys back to another edition. We're going to talk mainly about the Oregon Ducks in this episode. We're going to start it off talking about, recruiting for us. We picked up a 2022 recruit. Some people call him a legacy recruit, a Marion Winston. So I'm going to kick it over to my man, Jared. Tell me what you think about that, man.
It's a good start to the class, especially after losing out on Jaden Ott. Wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
Kid made a decision pretty early to commit, and clearly he wasn't feeling it, which, hey, these are young kids. I mean, they got big decisions to make. These are really, really big decisions. So we definitely understand that. But yeah, this is a great pickup. I mean, it's a legacy thing. This is the kind of thing that you want at Oregon. I haven't had the chance to look at much tape yet, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do. And it's huge to get these brotherly pipelines going because we've missed out on some brothers. We've missed out on some legacy guys, Elijah Molden, Chase Cota, those guys. They still kind of bite a little bit, but it's good that right now, first you got Noah Sewell. Now you got Winston committing, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what he can do.
For sure, for sure. Well, what you got for me, Axel? What you think, man?
To piggyback off of what Jared just said, it's always good when you hear a brother joins the flock and all that, because you had, the situation at USC with the Pittman family, felt like he should have had more playing time, and Micah ended up being a Duck. So when you hear a situation like that, just kind of like testify what Cristobal is doing right now, and just making everybody turning everybody into believers, pretty much.
For sure, for sure. You got something to kick in on that?
Yeah, man. It's funny because we call him the legacy, but the middle brother is at SC. So,
Yeah.
so,
That one
so,
stings.
so it's kind of interesting to see how how this will fly for the next couple of years. To see if he stays, if he starts to waver, maybe depending upon how his brother's career starts to pan out up there. You never know how that might take a toll on him mentally, whether positively or negatively. I guess the interesting thing, which was to me, is that he's projected as an outside linebacker. With the tape I was watching, was a lot of him, with his hand in the dirt, whether it was kind of at the D tackle or at the D end spot. So just being able to kind of see him move in space and how those, how he flips his hips and can run, I'm kind of interested in seeing that growth over the next couple of years. But definitely a solid pickup.
Well, I'm gonna add my little last 2 cents to this. Brother Lamar played for the Ducks this past season and helped usher in that Rose Bowl victory. And according to Big Brother Lamar, he is the best of all three. So
Okay.
all I can do is just sit back and wait to see, man. Because if he's better than Lamar and his brother at USC, man, it's gonna be a scary sight. Adding more youth and talent to that talented linebacker group. That Oregon's working on. And speaking of linebacker groups in Oregon, man, we got to talk about these coaches, man. A lot of these kids. Not current commit, but the most recent 2021 commit, Keanu Williams, he mentioned that Oregon's been the spot for him, from the jump. And a lot of kids are flocking to Oregon, mainly because of the coaching staff. Actually, you want to kick in your 2 cents about the staff, man, and what they bring into the table for Oregon and how they changing the coaching.
Yeah, with the culture, you saying the culture, it's just like, it's the perfect time for Oregon to take over, with USC kind of struggling right now, when we know what's happening with UW right now too, with the coaching change and all that. And there's no real Pac-12 elite right now. And so what Oregon's been doing is just creating this family environment, and everybody's buying in, take over the West, and with how they recruiting your family, recruiting the kids and all that, and making them buy into the winning a championship. Anytime I talk to, or Doug Sports Authority talks to one of these kids, it's always like, we're winning the championship in the next 2 or 3 years. So you can see they're all buying into the vision and all that too. So pretty good what Oregon's doing right now.
Hey, buying in is key, man. It is very key. Duran, what you got to say, man?
I just think the one thing that sticks out to me about this coaching staff, I think we touched on it last week or earlier this week, was the diversity on the coaching staff. There's so much diversity. There's so, not just in, race, but just in backgrounds where everybody's coming from big schools, Power Five schools to mid majors, and bringing their expertise and how they recruited in places that people didn't want to go to. I don't know all the names, so forgive me, but I know we had coaches from, Boise State. We've had Mario who's coached at Alabama. So, all those different things, but they all come here for one common goal. And when you have a CEO like Coach Cristobal, yeah, I'm calling him a CEO because he's the head of the business. So when you have a CEO like that, who's bringing in great people, who are family-oriented people, and who all have that same drive and that same mission, it's easy to go out there and talk to these recruits because you're giving the same type of message. Once messaging gets different is when recruits get scared. But when you have that same message coming across and it's genuine from everybody because everybody truly believes it, you can do special things, and you're starting to see that with the type of commitments that the Ducks are getting right now.
Jared, man, I know you've been wanting to talk about this for a minute, so.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about this. I think what stands out the most to me is that this, we've heard other teams say, we're going to continue to dominate the West Coast, or we're going to take back the West Coast. Oregon they don't need like little catchphrases. You want to know why? Because they just won the Pac-12 and they just won the Rose Bowl. They don't need catchphrases because they're winning. If you go back, we were 4-8 just a few years ago. And every single year we got better. Cristobal has proved that he's building something in Eugene, and the kids are buying into it. And this is such a good time, not even just because USC's down, but just because of what's happening with COVID, in my opinion. This is just Oregon. It's the most perfect timing for Oregon right now, just because with all that's what's happened with Corona, it has made it a lot more difficult to get kids on campus and all that. But just the fact that you can literally go off by, hey, we just missed the playoff by one game, but we still won the Pac-12 championship. We still won the Rose Bowl. They're able to sell that. And I feel like Cristobal, I mean, he can sell ice to an Eskimo. This guy he's ridiculous. He can recruit anybody anywhere. It's ridiculous. So, and the whole staff can too. But the fact that all these kids say like it's real, it doesn't come off as fake. It comes off as real. Like the family vibe is real at Oregon. There's not often where kids talking bad about Oregon. And if it is, it's just because things just didn't work out like that. So, for me personally, I just think it's insane what they've built in Eugene in just a few years. And, I can't wait for the future. And I think, honestly, this class coming up is probably going to be the best class ever in terms of numbers and possibly even in terms of talent.
Bruh, I've been preaching this for of my Twitter existence for Duck fans, man. It's something I've watched happen at other schools from a distance. When you talk about Saban getting to Alabama, coming from the pros. When you talk about Coach O and LSU. When you talk about how Harbaugh had Stanford rolling. You can talk about a ton of other schools, but the thing is you have coaches who make stops, and you have coaches who have opportunities, and they learn from opportunities that don't go their way, and some use it to the betterment. And this guy was the right-hand man to Saban. He was an assistant head coach. He was an offensive line coach. Like, the dude was the 2015 Recruiter of the Year. So, when Jared said he can sell ice to an Eskimo, this dude can sit down and say, look, I'm going to take care of your son on and off the field. We finna try to make sure that, everybody has everything that they need to succeed, and not just on the field, but as, people in life. And so he's able to take that, and he's also understanding that, hey, I want to be better on the field and, be able to have elite talent to compete with, the elite schools. Because people always think Oregon's just, oh, you go to Oregon, you got to be a good quarterback, run the spread offense, and you good. Or you're just going to go to Oregon to coach for a year or two, and then you're going to take the next best job. And a coach doing that got us to where we are now because we got a coach that says Oregon's a destination. It's not a detour. It's a destination. So, people want to be in Eugene. People want to be in Oregon. People want to wear the green and yellow and throw the O, and they trying to win a national championship, and they believe it. So that's a beautiful thing when you see it, cultivating before your eyes, especially when, me myself, I've always believed Oregon could have been at this level back when Chip was there, and then, Chip did what he had to do, and then it was Helfrich. And I don't necessarily what happened with the Helfrich era. I just know that it didn't end too well. And we went through a tumultuous time, but every year, fam, we've improved, and people still knock the fact that Oregon improved. Name a school that went 4-8 and it improved to 12-2 in 4 years, win the conference, win the Rose Bowl, and hell, some schools hadn't even made it. We still waiting for Miami to get back. Miami's made it to a New Year's Six Bowl and lost to Wisconsin. Miami's had instances where Miami's went on runs, but we're talking about them. We're talking about Texas. Texas, they won a Sugar Bowl a year ago, but we're still waiting for those schools. Michigan, but Oregon did it in a short period of time. Other schools are still trying to get back there, and you have a coach that knows what it takes to get to that level and then get you over the hump. It's unbelievable, man.
To your point with Duran's point about Mario being the CEO and all that, but we gotta give credit to Rob Mullins too. Back to your one of the points that you made, Duran, about Rob Mullins like allowing Cristobal to just implement his system and trusting him to like slowly progressing and all that. Because if you're asking for an easy fix, coaches are just gonna hire whoever and not bring quality people into the organization. So Mario selling his dream and doing all that and having everybody bought in, it definitely Rob Mullins work too. So
no, for sure.
With 6 top 5 recruits in 2021 cycle and all that, it's just like what they're doing again. It's just you're selling it. You're having a genuine conversation with these kids, saying you're not going to get the job just like that. You got to work hard for it, and you working hard for it. I'm also going to be making you a better man, and going through hard time, not just going to the transfer portal like we've been seeing a lot. But when these kids do leave, you also hear them talk good about Oregon, about it being a genuine place, and that's just again how real it is in Oregon.
Fact. Kind of took I was about to say the same. No, I was about to say the same thing, like the athletic director and bringing that and allowing them, because you don't get that a lot. Usually after 3 years, they don't wait for that fourth.
Yeah.
We're seeing where it's almost like a 3-year and not really a 4-year ability. By that 3rd year, it's like, you ain't do nothing, time to go, bro.
But
especially in the Power 5 conference. So for Oregon to stay with him, and now you starting to see the benefits. That 4th year, you get a Rose Bowl. You know what I mean? Like a lot of students are not gonna do that.
It's like Hollywood wrote the whole script, man, from, the kids voting Mario in and, the whole speech about we're coming, baby. It's just like a whole hype tape. And,
One of the last persons that voted one was Miami, and they won the national championship when they got Coker.
It was crazy please don't say Coker.
Well, he wasn't a good coach, but they voted him. What I'm saying is the last time that players felt good about having somebody be at the helm, it played off well for the players in the school. I'm not saying he was like, he's no Saban or no Christo, but he was the right man for that particular team, that particular year.
Yeah, because they were rallying behind the coach.
Right.
I most definitely understand that. But a testament to the coaching staff, man, when you had Jalen Jelks and Hollins and Numati get ready to go pro, and those guys were seniors. And they were like, I wish I had another year eligibility. Like you get that feeling like, okay, the staff is doing something right when you got senior players who are finna go pro. That's like, I would come back for another year if I could, just because I love the staff and I love it here, just to get better. And so it tells you where the program's going. Some places it takes a lot longer, man. And that's the thing is you can't get too high too quick, and you can't get too low. And that's one thing I've learned from this whole situation, man, is Oregon was 2 years removed from a national championship game, and then they were 4-8, and now they're 4 years removed from a 4-8 season, and they're Rose Bowl champions and Pac-12 champions with a 12-2 season. Like you can't write that no better way, man. If you talk about the ultimate roller coaster ride, that was it in 6 years.
But that just goes to your point too of building a culture. Like
Yeah.
just having the foundation laid out, so whoever goes is the next man up. It'll just follow. With the whole I can't remember his name right now. Coach at UCLA, Chip Kelly's situation. You feel me? It was just Oregon felt like a stepping stool. It was just go to Oregon, get your things right, then go to a team like Ohio State or the NFL or places like that, one of these elite schools. What Mario's doing right now is Oregon is the place. You want to stay there. You want to build your career off that. Then maybe if the NFL calls, then you go to the NFL ready and all that. And it's just everything just feels slow. Like people care, and how these recruits say 4 or 5 coaches be texting them. It's just like this genuine feeling that they give you, and it's just like we're not gonna rush you, we're not gonna put you in a bad situation. And Kayvon, he didn't start right away. They groomed him, and it just feels like if it's not gonna work out on the field, it's definitely you're gonna be a better man being at Oregon.
It's surprising, well, not surprising, but the Biggie Bank off of you talking about Kayvon, being a 5-star D lineman out of California. Let's switch it over to a little bit of current recruiting on our way out the door here in the last couple minutes. Oregon has been rumored to be in the lead as far as a lean for Mr. Corey Foreman.
J-Dub.
You got
J-Dub been calling it.
Hey, man.
So you got some hot news on that. Well, not hot news, but hot rumblings on that one. New rumor breaking is Mr. JTT out of Washington. One is being pursued by the Oklahoma Sooners, and then also that he could be moving to Texas. Down here, I'm kind of surprised because they're not going to have football down here this year, so I don't see how he's going to move here for that to be a good thing. But hey, maybe a family thing. But hey, Mr. West, I'm gonna let you go ahead about Mr. Foreman. Man, I know you want to talk about this, so go ahead. This is your ball in your court, fam.
Well, it's about time that Biggins and them started listening. I gotta say that. It's about time. Yeah, man. I mean, I've been trying to tell everybody that it's gonna happen. I have not wavered on this. I have felt confident for a long time that Foreman is going to be a Duck. Even when he committed to Clemson and got a little tiger tattoo, I think he had that to begin with, even before he committed to Clemson. I was just like, he's not going to go to Clemson. And especially now, with Dabo, telling some people they need to go back to their country. Maybe he's never, I don't think Clemson is going to be right. So when I said that he's not going to go to Clemson, I'm just clearly a genius. So people should have just listened to me. But yeah. So with Foreman, man, I mean, I just think it's going to happen, dude. Like, just look at you look at a guy like Thibodeau and how much he's dominated last season. I mean, like even as Axel just mentioned, he didn't start, but if you go back and watch those games, the dude causes so much pressure every single play. In that Auburn game, he got to Bo Nix he got so close to Bo Nix so many times. It is just infuriating to see. It's like that much raw talent. We've never, ever seen something like that at Oregon. Never like off the bat like that, in my opinion. At least not on the defensive side of the ball. And I think Justin Flo is going to tear stuff up this year too. And what's the significance of those two guys? They're both the number 1 guy out of California in both of their classes. Not only that, they're both in the top 5 for highest rated commits of all time at Oregon. I mean, you just look at it. It's perfect. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's just it goes get it. If he goes to USC, it's like peanut butter and mustard. Peanut butter and mustard doesn't mix. It all just makes sense.
Yes, sir. I don't even think. Does anybody else really have anything to say after that?
I mean, nothing. Shut it down.
Look,
I'm telling y'all.
We appreciate y'all kicking it with us again on the Fly Guys HOTcast. We didn't take up too much of your time this time, but we appreciate you taking some time out to watch us. We will be back with another
Not that.
You already know Corey Foreman's going to be a Duck. I've been saying it. Before we form it, everybody, he's gonna be a duck.
You gotta go like that for the crack. You gotta go like that for the crack.
Go
He's gonna be a
Ducks.
duck.
Y'all have a good one. Peace
Go
out.
Ducks, baby.
Go Ducks, baby.